Over the past month, I've made a couple trips down to Indianapolis, the largest city in the state of Indiana. Had a chance to do some comic book hunting. Let me show you what I got. Hi, this is James from Read More Comics. If you do like my content, please do all the regulars, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell in the corner. Every time I make new content, you'll get a notification for that. As I shared in part one of this video, I had an opportunity to hunt for some comic books over the last month, traveling down to Indianapolis multiple times for both work and for some personal reasons. And I want to share what I got. As I do this, because I hit multiple locations, I am going to kind of give a rundown of the particular shop or store, so you have an idea what to expect. First off, and this is kind of like just a caveat. It has nothing to do with any of this. Behind you can see, there we go. Sorry, doing an adjustment. My dog just saw a rabbit out in the front yard, and he's really excited about that and disappointed that I will not let him out so he can hug the bunny and say hello. Anyway, one place I have found a lot of luck is half-price books. We have one in our area in the next town over. It's about 20 minutes away. Down in Indy, there are multiple locations. And the wonderful thing about that is at different locations, they're going to have different stock. It's very particular to the store and what's been coming in. When I went down there, there actually happened to be half-price books in the strip mall of the restaurant I was going to. There was a Taco Bell in the parking lot of a large mall, and I went, hey, there's a half-price books. I'll check it out. I went through there. They're very standardized in their organizations, you know, how they have the different books and whatnot. And that's not what I want to point out. They're always going to have, it's almost like a kiosk, a small section for comic books where they'll have boxes on top of this kind of island, and beneath they'll have sometimes they have discount comics, sometimes they have discount trades and things like that, and they're usually pretty organized. Now the one in my area I recognized has a lot of comics. This one had a modest number, but it was all different stock than what I'd seen at my local half-price books. They had a lot more Bronze and Copper Age books, which I thought was pretty cool. One that stood out, and after I got it, I actually see it could use a press, but it's not one of those books worth getting pressed. So I was looking specifically for books for my 2025 collecting goal, and then my backup is Conan the Barbarian. So if they don't have anything, I'm looking for Conan. This is the original Marvel years. I have most of it in the Omnis anyways. So here we have Conan the Barbarian, king size annual, number 5. And it is in immaculate condition. It's one of the square bound books, so they have the staples on the inside, except for this corner. It has a bend, and it's not a color breaking bend. So if this book right here was worth some money, I definitely would get it cleaned and pressed, but it's not. Anyway, nice addition to it. And one thing that I've decided with this, because the annuals tend to be a little thicker, and this was in a period where they were a little wider, I'm going to be starting to use silver bags and boards, and I'm going to go back and rebag and board all of my Conan books, because it'll bother me if you have, when you're looking at the box, some are, yeah. Anyway, if you're a collector, you understand what I'm saying. So here we got Conan number 1. The next shop, and I've been to 2 separate locations. I think they have, I'm aware of 3 locations. This is Downtown Comics. They have one in downtown, like literally it's in downtown by the Circle. And then they have one up in Chesterton, I think it is. It's up by Fisher's, which is in northeastern Indianapolis. And then they have one on the western side in Avon. So I've been to 2 of them. And this is a more typical comic book store. This is what I would expect. Anyway, Both of these were in strip malls. They have a very standardized layout, something that's kind of nice to expect. When you walk in, they have pops and they had some games, and then several kind of displays in the middle of the store. Up in the front where the register is, they had wall books that go along one side behind the register. And then after you get past an area of some trays, they have current comic books along the left wall, along the back, and kind of coming up the other side. In the back, in the middle, they call them bins, but they're long boxes on tables and underneath tables. They're really well organized. All the books are bagged and boarded. The prices are what you'd expect, I think, for an LCS like this. Okay, it is serving Indianapolis, and so the standard of living's a little different, prices a little different, and so with that in mind, what I saw was about what I wanted to pay. There was one book that was a little bit salty, but I've been looking for it, and if you kind of take it in, while I could get that single book cheaper, like on eBay, I'd be paying shipping and handling, and I'd have to get these in multiple different sellers because it's unlikely I'm going to find a single seller for all of these. Does that make sense? Anyway, so I kind of keep that in mind. Most of these books were $5 or less. There was a couple books that were a little bit more. This first one was one of those that was a little bit more, but it was for a charity. So this is by Mad Cave. This was a book that this LCS, Downtown Comics, they had purchased a bunch of, and this is to support the victims of the Los Angeles wildfires. So by Mad Cave, we got LA Strong, which ironically is kind of timely. I looked at it, and it has some name creators in there, both artists and writers, and so I'm looking forward to reading that. They had several books for my New 52 Batman Detectives run. We got Detectives Tech number 0. We got number 4. I think this is David Finch. Maybe it's not. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's a Tony Daniels cover. He did some awesome covers in the current run, Batman Volume 3. And then we have issue number 21, and this is a Jason Favok cover. What was that first one? 0 is, this is also a Tony Daniels cover. All right, so next up, and these again are connected to my 2025 collecting goals, just like Detective was. This is Silver Surfer Volume 3, and what I've been finding is, and I think this has to do with, I've alluded to this, I just haven't put any effort to looking it up. I'm sorry, my dog is being a nudge. Hey, it's okay, lay down. This is Silver Surfer Volume 3. We got issue number 129. And then we have issue 117. This was a little bit more, I want to say this was like $12 because this is the first full appearance of the, what is it, the Black Surfer or Silver Surfer Black. Okay. And then we have, sorry, this is hard to read the numbers. This is issue 115. And I kind of like that cover where they're taking apart Silver Surfer. So some of the issues in the later part of this run have been a little difficult to find and seem to be a little bit more expensive because I think the print run was a little lower. Where for most of the run, they've been dollar books. We found an issue of Fantastic Four, Volume 1. This is issue 352. And this is Volume 3. We have 607. Which this is the first appearance of the second or third Black Panther. This was a little bit more than I expected to pay. I feel that it was priced prior to just before the last Black Panther movie coming out, and I kind of paid it, but when I averaged it out, it still kind of worked to be within what I expected and within my budget. And then we have Fantastic Four issue 609. All right, so all of these are from Downtown Comics. I recommend any of the shops. I found them really easy to navigate. The people working there were easy to talk to and ask questions, and they were very helpful. So next up is Comic Carnival. This is near Fisher's also. This is a little closer to Indy itself. I want to say it's Chesterton also, but I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. Anyway, and Comics Carnival used to be similar to Downtown Comics. I'm getting all my comics prepped as I talk. I talked to one of the guys there. I don't know his name. Really easy guy to talk to. He's been there every single time I've been there. And he's a comic book geek just like I am. What I appreciated about it, he kind of gave the lore. He said, hey, you know, Comics Carnival used to be, and I'm making the connection. He did not. It used to be kind of like Downtown Comics where they had multiple locations. Apparently there were multiple owners. One of them retired, sold the business, sold the other half of the business to the person that continued it, and he consolidated everything, all the back stock, into a single location instead of having multiple locations. So one of their selling points, and you'll see this if you look them up on Google Maps or social media, is they have 100,000 books in their store. And they're right, they do. They have these heavy shelving. To me, it comes up to, and I'm rather tall, so I would say it's probably the shelving with long boxes on top, maybe 5 feet tall. Let's go with that. And they have, I want to say 3 or 4 layers, 3 layers, I think, of long boxes. It dominates the back half of the store. The front half is what you'd expect. They have a lot of shelves for different genres. This was interesting compared to Downtown Comics, different genres of comics, sci-fi, manga, etc. They had some other, geek stuff, statues, and that type of thing. Their comics are reasonably well organized. Okay, reasonably well, considering there are 100,000 of them. Now, here's a caveat, though. All the books that are, I think they said $10 and less, are in the main collection. Anything more expensive is behind the counter. All the stuff in the main collection is not bagged and boarded because it just would be too much. It would take up too much space, which I get. But the other side of it is they're asking for what would be a reasonable price for a book, of any given title, but it's in a long box with other comics, and there's a lot of them, and so they show a little wear, if you will. They have some defects. They have spine ticks. They might have folds, color breaks, things like that. So you have to be really particular when you're looking through their backstock. But they have a lot of it. Okay. And then the more expensive books they have in the back. I wasn't really impressed with their more expensive titles. Again, it was only the books I was looking for. I wasn't looking through everything they had. So this was a book that for whatever reason I missed at Buy Me Toys. We got Conan the Barbarian. This is the current Titan Comics run, issue number 20. This was, I think, right before their hiatus. Now, when I got it home, and I don't remember it being there, but it has a spine tick, and that really bothers me. This is a Del Toro cover, though. It's gorgeous. And because of that spine tick, I might eventually replace it. Barbaric is a title that I've been following ever since my LCS gave one away for like $1 or something like that. Maybe it was a freebie. This is by Volt. It's about a cursed axe, or wait a minute, it's a person that's cursed. He's a barbarian, hence barbaric, who has a talking axe, but he can only hear the axe, and the axe keeps him, while it's bloodthirsty axe, keeps him from doing bad things. So I'm going back trying to collect it. They have kind of like these individual little mini-series. This is the original run. This is issue number 3. We got Batman and Robin issue number 25. This is volume 1? Yeah, volume 1. New 52 is volume 2. I needed this to finish out the run, and I'm good to go. We have a couple issues of Detective. We have Tech number 3. This is another Tony Daniels covers. Yeah, I actually signed it right over here on this blade. Super cool. And then we have Tech issue number 45. This is a Monster of the Month cover, and I think this is Sienkiewicz cover. I am, for my current comic book haul, I am getting all these cool covers. New 52, it was all around here. They did one for Legos. They did a couple monsters a month. They did a selfie cover. They're just fun. We have some Fantastic Four. We have issue number 354. This was a minor key. It's a cameo appearance of the TBA or second appearance of the TBA. I don't know. It was in the regular issues, and it was in good shape. So, and then this is, I'm not sure if this is volume 3 or volume 1 because Marvel did this weird numbering thing. We got Fantastic Four issue number 544. I think this is volume 3. I got Fantastic Four Life Story issue number 4. Been looking for this. This issue number 1 was something that the Feige said you should read amongst some other books to really kind of be able to embrace or immerse yourself in Fantastic Four lore before watching the movie that comes out in just a few weeks. So, but I wanted the whole mini, so I finally was able to find this. And I really like Mark Russell. The covers are just gorgeous too. We have Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. This is volume 1. I needed issue number 4. Kicked myself in the pants. I paid like $2.50 for this, and then it was $3. And then I saw it at Half Price Books the same day for $1. Is what it is. And then they had one issue of Conan the Barbarian that I needed for my run. This is 118. So that's Comics Carnival. I definitely enjoyed going there. It is not the first place I think I would go in the future. I've been there a few times. It's a nice store. They have a really broad collection. But even though they have 100,000 books, just a minute, drop something. Even though they have 100,000 books, which sounds like they'd have anything you'd ever want, they either have it or they don't. It's 100,000 books, but it's all the titles. It's not just the big titles you're looking for. So it is what it is. This last place out of the stores I've been to in Indy, I think is perhaps my favorite. It's called, it's Prideland Comics and Collectables. And if you go on their Facebook page, and they have dates for this right here, they have Saturdays throughout the year once a month where they have sales. And when I happened to be there, it was a sale. So it's 50% off all books under $20. And if it's $20 or more, it's 25% off. Okay. And then they also keep hitting up this night's haul, which looks like it's a comic and toy show in Indy. I'm never going to make it to that because I'm not driving down to Indy for a comic and toy show. Just not. Maybe a Comic-Con I would. Anyway, I got a stack of books here. And I ended up getting more for my buck here because of the sale. Now, a couple things to share. Much smaller store. Out of the 3 places, and putting Half Price Books out of this, out of the 3 specific comic book stores I've been to in Indy, this one's the smallest. Okay. However, the organization, the footprint for this person's store is immaculate. Everything is hyper organized. Everything is bagged and boarded. And he has some depth to his stock. He also has some stuff in the back that he's still processing through. So I was able to find some things for my collecting goal here that I did not see at Downtown Comics or at Comics Carnival with their 100K stock. So first up, only one Fantastic Four book. This was issue 319. Cool Doctor Doom Beyonder cover. And I think this is a part of the John Byrne run. I think. Maybe. I don't know. It looks very John Byrne-y. Then they had multiple books for Silver Surfer Volume 3, which has been ghosting me. And this is all in that kind of upper from about issue number 100 to the end. And there were a couple books that I kind of passed up because they were a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but in hindsight, maybe I should have paid it, but who knows. So we have Silver Surfer 96, Silver Surfer 120, Silver Surfer 127. Looks like there's some sort of stain down there by the QR code, or the barcode. Number 130, 136, and then annual number 7. And I think I only need one more annual then, and I have all of them. Okay. So I'm down to a handful of Silver Surfer books now. A few of the money ones. What is it, 46 and 47? It's the first appearance of Thanos, not first appearance of Thanos, first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. It's those Infinity War time books. Those, I think, are the only 2 money books in the first 100 I'm missing, and then some near the end. And those just tend to be expensive because of the low print run. Then they had a stack of Conan books, which is my go-to. So we had, and I think I ended up picking up 2 of these. Here's something that I have learned is a struggle bus. If you're buying comics out of town, you need to use your phone. If you don't have Key Collector on your phone, you want to try it out. I recommend it. I'm not a paid endorsement. I have Key Collector on my phone. Before I went to Prideland, I grabbed some lunch. I put all these books in so that way I did not get any duplicates, right? But one snuck in, and I'll show it in a moment. So it's a duplicate of this one right here. So we have issue number 115, which I think this is the 10th anniversary issue. This one right here, this is a John Buscema, Ernie Chan cover. This is like an iconic cover. It's gorgeous. And what I found at Prideland, most of the comics are like VF near mint, back issues. Okay, so they have back issues in the middle, on the outside, like most stores. That's where their new stock is. And then they had another section for more expensive back issues, and we're talking like $20 or more, not like crazy expensive. So anyway, iconic cover there by Ernie Chan and John Buscema. Here is the duplicate. We got 118, and it's an Uzi. That's how it slipped in. I was looking through and I went, man, I think I got, no, it says I don't have this one. So we have issue number 124, issue number 139. That's a cool Medusa cover. Issue number 146. Issue number 161. All right, so there you have it. Those are the comics I picked up shopping in Indy. If you did like anything I picked up or think maybe I missed something or I paid too much for something, and I don't think I did. I think all told I paid $100 for this stack of books. Please leave a comment. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to read more comics.